Hello, guys! Ready for the first episode? I know I'm ready. Seriously, though, I'm ready. I take this more seriously than what I make it seem like, so don't worry, I'm not a clown. I just act like it. Anyways, we're going to be first starting with prayer. You should always approach the Bible with prayer. So if you are a Christian and you feel like praying along with me, go right ahead. If you're not, just skip past this part or listen to it. I don't care. Either way, you know. Uh, this is more of a spiritual thing. Dear Heavenly Father, I ask that you bless this teaching or this lesson or whatever this is, this study, with your blessing. And you assist and bring forth knowledge. And you allow us to have an open and clear mind. And anyone hearing this, I hope that this is a blessing for you and it leads you closer to knowing the truth, the actual truth, the real truth. Because the truth is the only thing that matters. Pray for this in your name, Jesus. Amen. Okay, so now that we have prayed, we ask for God's blessing, as He's King. Let's start. So, Genesis 1, King James Version. Just figured I'd let you guys know that. Chapter 1. I'm horrible at reading, so this is really a struggle for me. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth. And the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, "Let there be light in the firmament of the heaven, to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth." And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creatures after his kind, cattle, creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a yielding seed. To you it shall be meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to every thing that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was good, and it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and he behold it. It was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. That is Genesis 1. All right. So there's a few things to note starting off. This is just going to be a broad view of it. We're going to be diving into it a little bit more with my next videos. But for now, I just want to do a really broad look at this. So, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So that is a closed gap statement. He created the heaven and the earth. There's nothing more to say to that for us. Or is there? Well, we'll look forward to that in the future. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. There was no light in the world at this time. Everything that existed was just darkness, right? And we can assume that being without form and void meant that there was nothing there, right? Or was there? Once again, we'll look more into this. There's a lot of different theories about this, but one of the things that I take from it is when it says moves upon the face of the waters, right? God is really letting you know something really, really, really important. And that is, the word used for waters there is actually like wave in the Hebrew. I could look it up, but I don't feel like doing that right now. But anyways, in the Hebrew, it's more like wave. And like I'm talking to you right now, it's sound waves, right? It's waves. Well, atoms have that same type of wave structure, believe it or not. They exist in a resonance. If they're out of sync with that resonance, they don't actually materialize. You won't have any material. So God's literally saying that he moved, or he vibrated, or he used his voice to make the vibrations in the proper places. When it says he moved upon the face of the waters, when he said, let there be light, that's a vibration from his voice. So perhaps somehow that vocally he set forth the atomic structure of everything into its proper resonance. And since we know that light is also a wave, you have light waves. It's not just a wave, but it is a wave. And all material has some form of waveform to it. Boom! You have your genesis of existence in that little pocket. And if you're not looking at it closely, you don't quite see it. Now, day and night are called day and night, right? The darkness and the light. But if you notice, there's nothing that really indicates a light separating them at that time. It's just day and night. So that means there's something more to it. The sun and the moon do not dictate when it's day and night. It's rather, there's some type of cosmologic thing there. At least that's what I get from it. So, I don't know what that means. There's lots of theories on it, but some cosmologic thing, there's a difference between day and night that's not related to the light of the sun or the reflection of the sun's beams off the moon. Okay? Or the darkness itself. There's something there. Another thing I gotta point out is God made the firmament, divide the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. What the heck is that talking about? Well, there are several theories on that. I'll go into them more in depth, but just generally, I want you to be sympathetic to these views. One view is that they're literally just talking about the sky and the space, I guess, maybe a heavenly realm above that, and the earth itself. Okay, that's a view. Another view is that there was some type of ocean or water barrier around the universe that we haven't reached yet. Okay, that's a view. Another one is that it's talking about clouds and that those clouds are, up in the sky. That's generally made of water. That's another view. And another a view, which I'm actually very sympathetic to, is that there is a vapor barrier above the Earth protecting it from the UV rays. Now, I'll go into more detail why I believe that, but yeah, I think there might have been some type of vapor barriers. You can check trapped amber. There is much more oxygen, so you would need something to prevent the oxygen from leaving the Earth, type of deal. Anyways, that's a subject for another day. So you'll notice that the dry land appeared on the earth, gathered in the seas. That's all good and stuff, right? Yeah. Seeds, trees. It makes sense. The land would appear first, and then you'd plant seeds and stuff. And things would grow. Explains the animals, the birds, and the fish. When it says whale, this is old speak for fish. Big fish and stuff like that. Creeping things, probably bugs, cattle. I did notice, though, that there's a distinction between beasts and cattle. And really, in our own modern-day system of classifying things, we consider beasts and cattle as probably the same thing. Mammals, basically, we consider beasts, right? And we consider lizards as something else. Well, apparently, there is some type of indication that separates cattle from beasts, which I'm not sure what that separation is, but there is one. The moon, the stars. Also, yeah, I noticed another thing too. A lot of people complain about the stars and stuff like that being made after the Earth. Well, there's nothing really wrong with that, because you just have this spinning ball, and God, obviously, His radiance and presence would be able to sustain it. Yeah, there's no issues there yet. Now, there could be, because matter, the way... I'll go into this later, but there's no material problems there yet. I have to go more in depth and get sciencey with it. But basically, we don't even know if we're talking about physical forms yet, if we're not talking about spiritual forms and spiritual bodies, because there's something that's going to happen if you're not read on Christian beliefs that is going to change this. So I'm not going to spoil that for you. And for the Christians, probably are laughing right now at my statements towards that. I did also notice that one of the first things that is good to point out is God's first command to humans, to man and woman, was to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Now, a lot of people will point to that replenish and think that means that the earth, oh gosh, to replenish the earth, it means it was filled before and it's not anymore. Well, no, that's not actually the definition of replenish. If you look at the old definition of replenish, it just means to fill. It doesn't necessarily mean to fill again. So, just a little small thing. And of course, they have dominion over everything, and what I read, it's pretty straightforward here. But after these this is just a general video. After this next one, we're going to be diving really into this, and we're going to be going verse by verse pretty much, because there's so much here that you're not noticing, in which I kind of like this general overview, because it's going to really show how much is actually in this scripture that we are just not privy to. And we will do that next time. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you will come again. This has been Jayce. See ya.